Hi, my name is Elisa Larson, and I am a BroncoFit Peer Health Educator here at Boise State University. Today, I will be talking with you about how to navigate the graduate school application process. I will be giving you some resources for applying and some tips, as well as some general expectations for the application process as well. There's a lot of stress in applying for graduate school because there are just so many variables. You have to decide where to go, which school, make sure you have all the requirements. There are also the financial stressors of grad school in general, but also the application fees. And then there's just fear of the future in general. In the 2020 Spring National College Health Assessment, it was found that 22% of Boise State students experienced high levels of stress. And then that another 30.4% said that they experienced some kind of anxiety. This could be generalized anxiety, social anxiety, panic disorder, or a specific phobia. Trying to manage stress from balancing classes, work, friendships, and other commitments can already be pretty overwhelming, and then to throw the variables mentioned previously about grad school applications on top of that can only increase that stress if you aren't sure about what to expect. Stress in the short term can actually be advantageous, but in the long term, if activated for too long, can have adverse effects on the body. These effects include increased production of adrenaline and other hormones, which can increase your heart rate and, if prolonged, can lead to hypertension or high blood pressure. Cortisol can also cause the inside of blood vessels to not function normally and can increase your chances of a heart attack or stroke. There is also a brain-gut connection in which when you are experiencing stress, your gut can be affected and the natural rhythmic contractions of your gut can be disturbed, leading to irritable bowel syndrome. During your application and interview process, you want to be on your best game, but if you're experiencing all of these different stressors, it could prohibit students from producing their best work and performing their best on the interview. Which leads me to the purpose of this presentation. A large portion of our student body is already experiencing stress and anxiety, as seen in the previous slides. And this process only heightens these adverse effects of stress. So my purpose is to help alleviate some of that stress and anxiety by providing a clearer picture of what the graduate school application process looks like in general, what to expect, and what resources are available to help navigate that process. Let's now look at some Boise State resources for applying to graduate school. The first is Career Services. They help with a lot of things in planning and developing your career, but specifically in relation to graduate school applications, they can help with career counseling and interview preparation. Career counseling can help you discern whether you need to go to grad school or not, depending on what career you desire to follow. Maybe the career that you have chosen doesn't require a graduate level degree, and so grad school is more of an option rather than a requirement for you. It can also help you decide which grad program is the one you're looking for, if you maybe want to do work in the field first and then apply to schools, or if you want to take a gap year to avoid burnout. The Career Services also helps with interview preparation. Interview preparation can help you answer questions and go over what are possible questions and discuss a plan on how you might answer certain types of questions. They also help you through mock interviews, so they can conduct a simulated interview with you, and if you want, they can even record your interview so you can review your performance. They pretty much help you overall prepare for your interviews for both jobs, internships, but also graduate school programs. The Writing Center is another service we have here on campus, and they can help with more of the physical application itself that you will fill out for grad school. They can look over cover letters, resumes, personal statements. They can do critical analysis, look over grammar, and they can help you with also scholarship applications once you have decided on a program, applied, and been accepted. Here are the contact information pieces, both email and phone number for both of those services, as well as where to make an appointment on their website. Another great resource are your Boise State advisors. These are faculty or staff members who may be able to help you walk through the application process. If you have a personal advisor within your major, or if you are in the honors college and have an advisor through them, they can be a great resource. If you don't know who your advisor is, you can search your department's website and find under faculty and staff your advisors. You can reach out to them through email or whatever contact information is usually given. Another great resource that isn't entirely connected to Boise State University are the admission coordinators for the university program you are applying to. This is for people who have decided on certain grad schools and specific programs. If you search the school and the program title and then admissions coordinators, you should be able to find them. Usually they give their email, sometimes their phone numbers, and you can reach out with any questions. They are extremely helpful as they are the boots on the ground, so to speak, for that specific program. Now that we've gone over resources for applying, let's take a look at general application expectations. Each graduate program is different and will have specific requirements, so first and foremost, you should figure out which specific requirements apply to your program. However, I will be going over general items that are fairly common on most, if not any, graduate applications. First is a statement of purpose or a personal statement, and there is a difference between these two. In an article published by Stanford University, the author stated that most applications require a statement of purpose. This is a very non-personal essay which should be focused on what I will do in your graduate program. Any mention of your past should read as evidence that you will achieve great things in their program and beyond. In that same article, the author explained that a personal statement is one where you talk about your character and explain that you're a good fit for the program because your specific qualities, or, if applicable, about any hardships that you have overcome. And this is a more personal essay. The second are exams. You should figure out what exam, if any, is required for your specific program. I know that for physical therapy school, the GRE is required, for law schools, the LSAT, medical school, the MCAT, and so on. You know the ways that you study best, so figure that out and then find resources and methods to help. There are so many different apps, computer services, YouTube videos, podcasts, and so much more, both free and for a cost. For example, if you know you struggle more with math, find a program that helps rekindle those skills, or if you want to focus specifically on test questions, find a book with old test questions specific to the test you will be taking. Lastly, make sure you schedule this test out with enough time. Figure out how much time you'll need to study, and then schedule that out as early as possible. For international students, getting your records and information in as early as possible is key. Usually, once you're accepted to a graduate program, you make your final decision around mid-April or earlier if your classes begin in September, usually, but not always. So that gives you at least 4 months to get a visa, which is not always an easy process. A lot of paperwork involves the original documents that need to be physically mailed rather than emailed, and this takes time. So start your visa process as soon as you have chosen a grad school. Many states have medical requirements as well. For example, to be an international student in California, you require the MMR vaccine, while international students on the East Coast generally require more. You will need to collect your records of vaccination. Graduate schools also look often for letters of recommendation. Make sure you're building good relationships with professors, bosses, and internship coordinators, people who have really seen your work in and outside of the academic setting, because these are the people graduate programs are looking to write these letters of recommendation. Lastly, look for the requirements on your school and program websites. Become familiar with your program's website and where their requirements and deadlines are listed. I even suggest to organize the requirements in a way that will allow you to keep track of them more functionally, either on a list or an Excel spreadsheet or whatever tends to work best for you. Ultimately, the best option is to try to pick your school as early as possible and find their deadlines and requirements on their website. It might also be helpful to meet, have a Zoom call, or have a phone call with an admissions coordinator to really solidify the requirements that you will need as early as possible. On this final slide, I have included a general application timeline. First, you should decide on whether or not you want to go to grad school or if you need to go to grad school. If you have decided that yes, you want to or need to, you can begin to research graduate programs at specific schools. In this research, make sure you look for specific requirements for the graduate program. This can be exams, prerequisites, letters of recommendation. This can differ from program to program, but also between schools for a specific program. For example, One physical therapy school may require 8 credits of biology as a prerequisite, and another only may require 3 or 4. Between 2 or 4 months before the application is due, I would take any required exams. Some exams will give you your scores back right away, and others will give you them back in a few weeks. So know when you can anticipate getting your exam scores back and plan accordingly. Also note that if you're trying to get a specific score for a program on an exam, you may need to take the exam more than once. During that same time, I would ask for letters of recommendation from any of those you have chosen. This can be done no less than a month before you begin your application to give those plenty of time to write your letter of recommendation. About 2 months before the application is due, I would start filling it out, if not sooner, and compiling all of your requirements. Start filling out the application, look for what essays you need to write them, and have people look over them. Get together your letters of recommendation, resume, prerequisites, transcripts, and anything else you need. Finally, submit your application and celebrate because this is a very exciting day. I want to take the time to thank you all for going through this presentation with me. I hope that it was helpful, and I wish you the best of luck with your application process if that is what you choose to do. Go Broncos!